25 years ago has brought us to a situation today where the Indian diaspora can expect a platform, so to say, where ideas can be exchanged, where community issues can be discussed. What would you like to say about his vision?
Well, I think the first thing is that today's presence of so many people that have attended from across the globe gives you the understanding that Jagmohanji's vision was the absolute right one. And that is because he saw 25 years ago there was going to be a real need when people were going to be globally across the world, that they needed to be able to connect back to the original place where they all originally came from. And I think the important thing Jagmohanji saw was, how do we bring them together without making it a forced union? And tonight, you've seen people from across the globe here interacting, networking, making friends, but they've all shared one thing in common, and that is that they all are proud of where they've actually come from originally. And it is a great bond, it is a great strength amongst the Indian diaspora, because the Indian diaspora have held on to a certain dream that India still is part and parcel of them.
Also, this is also the time when the Institute is now looking to move ahead and build on whatever already exists. How can the Institute be more relevant to the diaspora, which is spreading its wings all over the world?
Well, I think the Institute has shown it's being relevant, because amongst the awardees today, there were very many achievers of years that, of long standing, but there were also some young people. And I think the one thing that the Institute is showing, that it's not just a place for people that have achieved over decades, but that there are people there who are bringing on new ideas that need to be recognised, that there is a great strength in having a mixed generation. And also, India itself is a country where the young are actually pushing forward the sort of innovation growth that India needs. So I think there is a great strength from amongst the communities that we need to be able to be part of the countries that we live in and that we are part of, but also that we're able to exchange some of the strengths that we share across the globe back with India, because India in itself is an emerging economy that needs to have the strength and a support of the diaspora.
Also, the Institute, the NRI Institute, is looking to, one of the steps that they're looking to do is establish the NRI Business Forum, looking to maybe try and expand the business services to among the NRI community, among the Indian diaspora around the world, and also trade with India. What would you say to an effort like this?
Well, I think first of all we must congratulate the Institute for evolving. The Institute decided 25 years ago that there was a real need for global diaspora to network and have a connection with India. Today that relationship is changing. India itself is changing. And the strength, of course, of that is that the Institute's strength will lie within how it reaches out, does business. And the one thing I can say is that we've learnt a lot from being able to look at the Institute's bases and fundamentals of how the Institute has managed itself. It's evolved over the 25 years. It hasn't stood still. The world doesn't stand still. And the fact that it's now led by a very young man who, for circumstances that were not in his control, has actually taken the mantle forward, but is changing the face of the NRI Institute to actually accommodate the changing world. And I think that's a real strength with the NRI Institute. And Jagmohanji had that vision. He knew that the world would become smaller, that people would interconnect better. But the great thing about all of that interconnection was, how do we build the strength? And today I have seen people come together, exchange cards, and promise that they're going to carry on this friendship. That is what the NRI Institute is about: exchange of ideas, exchange of cards, exchange of friendships.
And one final comment also on the way Indo-British partnership, because Britain is one of India's largest, Britain houses one of the largest Indian communities around the world. What would you say for this, specific to the Indo-British partnership and expansion of that?
Well, I think the fact that, I mean, look at where we are today. And it's a relationship build that has changed. The dynamics of the relationship has changed. But the relationship is centuries old. And I think the great thing has been that the Indian diaspora here is so much more confident in itself. And the Indian community in India is a confident, predominantly young community. So I think that we are in a very different phase of global politics, global business, global interconnections. I think the relationships are changing, but they are changing for the better. And I think the great strength of what today has shown is that there is still that hunger, that desire to build on those relationships. And the relationship that India and the UK share has been one of, first of all, shared tensions, but shared values as well. And I think the diaspora shows that very well. So I think there is a great future for the building of the relationships. I think the diaspora will be at the heart of it. I think India has got to recognise that we have globally 25 million plus very vibrant Indians who are very keen to interact with India. And I think that organisations like the NRI Institute are the paving stones, the building blocks for making sure that those relationships work.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much indeed.